Okay. Looks like it's good on my end. Hello, everybody. We're just
Not
making
quite
sure that we have
It's
all
working.
the T's crossed and I's dotted, and off we
Good.
go. I got a thumbs up from our technical director, Patrick
Yeah.
Gray.
That's a terrifying thing for me to be in charge of technical stuff. I was
Well,
in charge of my computer. That's it.
yeah. Well, hey, everybody. Today we're with Mindy Henderson from the MDA. We'll kind of get into your story, what you do, and all of your background in a minute. But Pat, set the stage again. Just remind everybody what we are doing here in case they never heard of what we're doing.
If you never heard what we're doing, I don't know who Justin and I are. Justin lives life from a wheelchair, and he and I tackled the Camino de Santiago, a 500-mile pilgrimage across Spain, where I had the joy of pushing him with the help of many other people that led to a film and the story about 500 miles in a wheelchair across Spain. And we're using that as a platform or I guess a catalyst to raise money for the MDA, specifically sending kids to MDA camp. The MDA, if you're not familiar, is the Muscular Dystrophy Association. And these camps have been around for 65 years. And it's an amazing, amazing opportunity for kids to go to camp and experience all the things that a kid should be able to experience, like, boating and zip lining and games, and really establish some strong relationships with people who are in similar situations. And so we're using the film, selling tickets to watch the film, and then a big chunk of proceeds goes to the MDA to send kids to camp. There's also opportunities to donate beyond ticket sales or ticket purchases to make sure that as many kids as possible can get to camp this next year. And what's so important about it is that the past 2 years we've been in COVID, so we've been doing virtual camps, but this year we're doing virtual as well as in-person camps. Pretty exciting stuff. Yay! So we have Mindy Henderson. Mindy Henderson with us here, and Mindy is the well, one, she's a former camper, which is pretty awesome. So she has that perspective.
Yes, we want to hear that.
Also, is editor-in-chief for Quest Family Content. Did I say that right? For MDA Magazine?
You did, yeah. Very good.
MDA Quest. That's the short way of saying it. Quest. Yeah.
Good to see you.
You too. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
Well, let's dive in.
Yeah,
let's dive in. So give us a little bit of background about you and your journey in growing up, but also MDA, and kind of connect the dots for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. So MDA has kind of been a constant in for my whole life. I was diagnosed with a neuromuscular condition called spinal muscular atrophy when I was only about 15 months old. And so, and once I received that diagnosis, obviously my parents wanted as much information and resources and things as they could get. And so they found the Muscular Dystrophy Association pretty early on and partnered with them. I went on to serve as their Texas state and eventually their Florida state ambassador. So I've done a lot. I've gotten to tell my story a lot over the years about how amazing the MDA is and everything that they did for me and for my family to help navigating life with a neuromuscular condition so much easier. And one of those things was absolutely summer camp. And, you guys need to set your timers because I could talk about summer camp all day long. It was truly, in addition to just being so much fun, it was a truly, truly pivotal event in my life and sort of changed, I think, the trajectory of where my life went and who I became and all of that. I really do put that much credence and importance on what the camps did for me. But yeah, I grew up living life from a wheelchair and now sort of full circle, like you mentioned, I went to work full time. I had a 20-year career in high tech. And then I started to build a career as a motivational speaker and a writer. I have a book coming out next year. And thank you. And I reconnected with the Muscular Dystrophy Association last year and went to work for them as their sort of leading the charge on all of their Quest platforms. So we have a print magazine, we have a newsletter, a blog, and a podcast. And so we're constantly putting out lots of fun and hopefully interesting content for the community of individuals with disabilities. But yeah, it's like I said, it's been this sort of full circle moment to be back home with the Muscular Dystrophy Association, now getting to serve them in this capacity after everything that they've done for me my whole life.
That's great. So you said something earlier about MDA Camp that it changed your life. So this is really something that is life changing for these kids.
It really is.
So help get us kind of that perspective. I would love to kind of have you share. I mean, I'm sure you could talk, like you said, for hours about this.
I could.
I mean, anything's life changing. I mean, there's a reason, right? It's impacted you. But what are some of the things specifically that made MDA Camp so special to you? I mean, what maybe led to some of that life changing element, if you will?
Yeah. I think it's the combination of living life with a neuromuscular condition, and that is your day to day, but then MDA puts this, I don't know if I want to say tool in your hands, but kind of, they create this space that you can go to every week, and honest to goodness, your disability kind of melts away, and you get to spend a week of your life living as though your disability were not a factor. And so they create this space where, number one, you get to be outside of your usual care scenario. My parents were fantastic. They were compassionate and wonderful parents, but they were my physical day in and day out caretakers. And so being able to go somewhere else and know that I could be cared for by other people and be okay, and have a ton of fun while I was at it was really, really special. And then while you're there, all of the activities and the structure of the camp is built in such a way so that everything is accessible. So, things that I didn't get to do every other day, like play sports, play baseball, ride a horse, go swimming, go to dances, and feel like the most popular girl on the dance floor, all of those sorts of things are things that I didn't get to do every other day. And it was magic to have. I mean, I don't mean to be cheesy, but it was to be able to go someplace for a week every year and have that fun and have my disability fall into the background. And then also to learn, like I said earlier, that I could go somewhere outside of my parents' home and be okay. I say that honestly, summer camp is where I learned the potential for myself.
Interesting. Learn the potential for yourself. That's
and that's what that's why that's why what resonated with us so much about trying to help support this initiative, or kind of continue that effort for the MDA and getting kids to go to camp, is because we want to let, because you've been through it, you're kind of on the backside of it. But yesterday we were just talking with 12-year-old Riley, who's a camper, and she's just on the beginning of that journey. She's been to camp a few times, so but she's already recognizing that as a 12-year-old. So we want to make sure that people who are watching this or are listening, that when you say camp, people are like, cool, great, like I went to camp too, but not really, like not this way.
Right. Well, I think that's really important. The way you say that, Jay, is that we people who don't live life in a wheelchair, went to camp, but think about going to camp if it was never an option. Like this is the way that so many things that you could never do without the right facilities, the right staff, suddenly become, they're at your fingertips. And so many people take that for granted. And as opposed to taking it for granted. Let's make sure as many people, as many kids as possible can step into that scenario where they do feel like they're the center of the universe, where they are the only kid on the dance floor, where they're like all eyes, attention is on them having these experiences and making so many things possible. And it's like, it's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. And, kind of like you say, lots of other people go to summer camp, but all of those other summer camps were not an option for me because I needed someone to help me get out of bed in the morning and to put me in bed at night and help me, change my clothes and get from point A to point B. And once I got there, if all of those bases were covered, I wouldn't have been able to do any of the activities that the other kids were doing. So, it's a very it's something that a lot of people get to experience, but it's a very specific experience that the MDA provides for kids who couldn't go to the thousands of other camps that are out there.
Right. So what would you say to someone who's considering going to camp?
Oh my gosh. Go.
That's what Riley said yesterday. She said, go.
Go. Like,
stop thinking and sign up, because you'll have so much fun. They'll have to drag you away from the campground kicking and screaming, first of all, because you won't want to leave. But yeah, it's so much fun. And the friendships that I formed at summer camp it's people who I'm still in contact. I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but a lot of years later, I still talk to a lot of these people on a regular basis, and they're still in my lives. And, it's such a special bond that you create with people there. And you will truly have experiences that you could not have anywhere else if you go to MDA summer camp.
Yeah.
So,
and I want to delineate something real quick. When you say go, that means not only somebody who lives with a neuromuscular disease or qualifies, but also people who volunteer, like people.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I want to make sure that people understand that when they watch this and listen, that it's not like you can have a bunch of, like people like you and I show up at a camp in chairs, but if nobody's there to volunteer, we're just going to be sitting there. So that would not be good.
Exactly. And actually, I don't mean to interrupt you, but the person so MDA Summer Camp, it's a one-to-one relationship. Every camper who goes has a camp counselor assigned to them to be their arms and their legs for the whole entire week. And my camp counselor, from the time I was 15 until 17 or 18, ended up being my college roommate. We were so close. We went away to college together, and she ended up being my caretaker at college. So it was
cool.
So amazing. Yeah. It's such a cool place.
This conversation is perfect. Gina Kuckler just commented a few minutes ago. She said, all of that and the friendships and bonds that are made. Chronic illness is often very isolating, and to connect with others that just get you is so freeing, and you just become a huge family. MDA Summer Camp was the best gift, not just for my kiddos, but for me as well. It's like,
well said. Yeah, well said,
Thank you, Gina. That's good stuff right there.
Nice.
Man.
Yeah, and it's true. And I didn't even think to go there yet, but that's the other thing, is that you spend your life day in and day out feeling so different. And I mean, we all know when you're a kid, being different is the kiss of death, right? And so, nobody wants to be sort of the odd man out, but you spend so much of your life, if you have a disability, feeling unrelatable or feeling like you're not like anyone else. And sometimes it can be really difficult to make friendships and things like that. Not in all cases, but that can be a struggle at times for people. And there's a lot to be said for being able to go someplace where you feel like you're just one of the gang. One of the kids, and everyone is like you, and everybody understands that. I'm gonna go take care of this bit of personal business, and this person needs to come help me, and everybody gets it.
Yeah.
There's no explaining to do. So let me do a quick segue here. If you are just joining us and watching this, we're talking with Mindy Henderson from MDA, former MDA summer camper growing up, but also is now an ambassador, also now the editor-in-chief for the Quest family portfolio of digital and all things awesome for the MDA. So you got magazine, blog posts, and newsletters, and all things that you are now kind of at the helm of. So, but what we're doing here is we're helping raise money for the MDA for summer camps. So if you are interested in helping support this, we are screening our film, I'll Push You, where Patrick pushed me in a wheelchair 500 miles on the Camino de Santiago in Spain. And then our goal is to send 500 kids to summer camp. So 500 miles, 500 kids. And we're going to do our best to get as far as we can to help do that. It costs about $2,000 per kid for the week. And these kids and their families don't have to pay. So it's all people who donate, all people who will support. And so that's why we're doing this initiative. So if you'd like to learn more about what we're doing, go to allpushy.com/MDA. There's also a link in the post if you'd like to check that out. And if you've seen our movie, spread it with friends, family, share it with all your networks, post it in social media. That would be very, very, very helpful. So please do that.
It's an amazing movie. Can I just say?
Thank you.
Thanks.
So Rita just commented, she asked a question, is there one summer camp a year and do you need volunteers? I know the answer to the second question is yes, they need volunteers. Well, I know the answer to the first question is no, there's not one summer camp a year, there's many. But Mindy, can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, so there is one, it happens over the summer, and it's geographic. So depending on where you live, we've got a few different summer camps that are offered around the country, and they're not all necessarily happening on the same date, but they're happening over the course of the summer. And there's also a virtual option if there's not a location that works for you, or for another reason you can't make it this year, or whatever the case may be. There is a virtual option as well.
Perfect.
And I want to kind of tack on to the end of that just a bit, is that there is going to be some more information coming very, very shortly about dates, about locations, more information. Is it mda.org/camps? I think. Is that the URL? We'll put it. We'll make a note of that. Well,
MDA.org is the MDA website, but I'm not sure about the last part. I apologize.
If you go to MDA.org and maybe do a search for camps, it'll show up there. So, or if somebody knows that, put that link in the chat. That'd be great. So, I'm pretty sure that's what it is, but
it sounds right.
I want you to make sure.
Yeah.
Camp. Okay. Cool.
I'm actually double checking it right now.
Onwards and upwards. So while Patrick's checking on that, I have a question for you, Mindy.
Yeah.
Looking back from your experiences going to MDA camp, do you have a favorite story or memory you'd like to share that would be appropriate for me? I might put that little asterisk on the end.
Yeah. Well, and for any parents watching, looking back, we had a lot of fun. There was nothing it was all very appropriate and very tame. We thought we were wild and crazy back when we were 12, but it was all very tame. But yeah, so many. I think the dances were always my favorite times. It was a time to get dressed up and play with makeup a little bit and that sort of thing, and get kind of fancied up to go to the dances. I'm just getting flooded right now. We also did talent shows from time to time. And I remember one year, my camp counselor, I think I was 11 maybe at the time, and she was going to school for English sign language, to be a sign language interpreter. And so she was very well versed in sign language. And so we got a group of our friends together and decided that we were going to sing a song in the talent show and also sign to it. So that was really fun. I remember her, teaching us sign language and all of that. So that was a fun time.
That's awesome.
Oh, very cool.
It's fun to hear from different people who've been to camp, and just different interests. You were talking about the dances and the talent show. We've heard about zip lining. We've heard about boating.
Oh.
And there's just so many different things. Heard about color wars, which is kind of a cool thing.
Okay.
And so there's something for everyone there, and it's really designed in a way where everyone gets to experience a multitude of things that they just wouldn't otherwise be able to experience the same way. So
and actually that brings to mind, there was one year out of the years that I went that they had horses that we could ride, and I remember a couple of guys getting me up on the horse, and I remember the second the horse went to move and start walking, it moved so much more than I thought it was going to, and I just remember thinking, this is what it's like to ride a horse. This is what it feels like. And I had never had that before.
Wow.
It's funny. And I'm going to take a quick side tangent. I would literally just talk to my wife like 3 days ago about this. I said, I just want to lay on the floor. Like, it sounds weird to say that. Just lay on the floor. Cause I'm always in my chair. From the moment I get up until I go to bed at night, I'm always in my chair. So I just want to lay on the floor. She's like, well, let me know. I can get out the lift and we'll keep you down there. Whatever. I mean, and that's the beauty of, my wife being able to do that. But it's those kind of experiences, be able to get on the back of a horse and experience that.
Yeah.
Like, how many people just take that for granted? Like, I can just hop on a horse and off I go.
Right.
So
being able to get in the pool on your own.
Yeah.
You take that for granted, being able to get out of bed, some kids need help brushing their teeth. It's like, this is a big deal, folks. Big deal.
Yeah.
Peggy Sue Lansing did comment earlier that she tried to fill out a volunteer application for camp, but the last 2 spots in the app didn't work. So Autumn, if you're listening, Peggy Sue, Autumn Hume is from the MDA. Autumn, I'm going to task you with reaching out to Peggy Sue.
Or Alicia. Alicia.
I'm just saying Autumn Hume is actually on right now. So
hi, Autumn.
Great.
So if you could help Peggy Sue out, that'd be great. Because Peggy Sue would make an awesome volunteer.
Yes, she would.
Again, Patrick Gray, our resident technical director.
There you go.
All right.
I think we've addressed most of the questions. Kind of the last question we had for you was circle around how the camp experiences have really kind of helped you in life. But really, this whole conversation has been about that.
Yeah. It really, and I can't stress it enough, the camp experience, and it feels kind of, I think for anybody else, it might sound silly to say, summer camp changed my life, but it really did. It gave me a look at, like I said before, what was possible for myself. It showed me that I could move out of my parents' home and be okay, that there were other people who could take care of me, that, my camp counselor best friend could be my college roommate. And, we could go on and have more adventures together, and, and that I could go to college because there were people like her who could come and be my caretaker, and I could live away from home in college, and college leads to jobs, and so it goes, and I think there's an element of it that made me more open to trying new things. And so when it came time to think about driving a car, that's a very specialized thing for someone in a wheelchair with mobility issues. And so, but, I think I learned at a really young age that trying things was a really smart thing to do, and that there were actually a lot of options out there that maybe we didn't see in our everyday lives, and to look for ways to make things happen.
And that, and that's why we're here. I mean, this is why we're talking with you today. This is why we're doing what we're doing this week. And so if you'd like to support what we're doing, there's a link on the screen, allpushyou.com/MDA. It's also in the post as well, if you'd like to click that. And we're using our film, I'll Push You, as a catalyst to help support all these kids go to summer camp. Our goal is 500 kids, and it costs $2,000 a week to send a kid on average. So do the math. It's about $1 million. It's a big one. So help buy tickets, spread the
Use
word, do
every
whatever
means
you can. And because we want more stories like Mindy's. We
Yes.
want more of that. And that's what we want to see. This is what we're hopeful that we can do with this, what we're doing this week. So tickets are available this week. The thing, it ends on Sunday. So this is not a forever campaign. We're doing our best we can within this compact time period. And so again, check out MDA, what we're doing with that at illpushyou.com/MDA. Cool. So is there, yes, Patrick?
Well, I'll just say, Mindy, anything you want to add before we wrap things up here?
Honestly, I want to thank you guys for what you're doing. It means just personally a lot to me, knowing what I got from the camp experience and knowing that you're trying to provide that for other kids is amazing. So thank you for spending your time and for using this amazing movie that you guys have made to try to make this happen for other kids.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely.
We're doing our best. It's, the lessons that we've learned from our movie, as well as, our journey on the Camino and beyond, even before then, you can't do it alone. This is a life that we need each other. And sometimes we need each other to pick each other up and support one another. Sometimes it's a financial support. Sometimes it's time, like volunteering, and pouring into those who need it. And so that is something that resonates with us the most. And that's why we're here to help support the MDA, because we want it. So thank you, Mindy. We appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for carving out a bit of your schedule to chat with us.
My pleasure.
We're just two knuckleheads. So
well, I love the subject. So I'm happy to do it. Thanks for the invitation.
You bet. All right, everybody.
All right,
thanks for watching, and everyone have a great day. We'll see ya.
Bye.
Bye. Let me end it. There we go.